Hi, I'm Carla, and I have Liz joining me in studio today. Today's session is an abdominal class, working a little bit into abdominal strength and also into twists. If you have any back issues, if you are pregnant or menstruating, this possibly isn't the right class for you. So maybe look at one of the different programs, but because we are doing quite a lot of strong abdominal work and some deep twists in this program. We are starting the class seated in Dandasana. Generally in Dandasana, if you're unable to get that lift of the sacrum, taking a support of a blanket to sit on is a solution. But because we're beginning the class, we're going to take the support regardless. And you're placing the blanket right up against the wall because we're coming to sit in Dandasana against the wall. So you move your buttocks back into the cornicing, the skirting rather, and then you're going to extend your legs out in front of you, open up across the collarbones, take the shoulders back towards the wall. As you exhale, can you draw the abdomen back to the spine? The hands are in Dandasana, the legs are extended. Bring the hands into the prayer position, let the eyes close. Keeping the legs straight, the spine straight. This should feel quite easy and supported. With the eyes closed, you bring your focus inward. With that internal focus, you're just finding a rhythm to your breath, an extension of your spine, life and action in the legs. Taking a few quiet moments here to make your own dedications for your practice or chanting the 3 Oms. On an exhalation, drop your chin down. Keep the back against the wall, the flesh of the shoulder blades releasing down the wall, chest well lifted. Releasing your hands onto your lap. Lift your head up and let your eyes open. We need to come away from the wall for Parsva Dandasana. So coming away from the wall, keep your blanket support if you need to. You're still sitting on the blanket support. Parsva means to the side. So parivrita, usually twists are called parivrita, but also coming to the side essentially is a twist. So in Dandasana, you're sitting on the blanket support to get that lift of the sacrum, that extension of the chest, making sure that the legs are nice and straight. Extend your arms over your head. Urdhva Prasarita, just to get length in the sides of the body, warming up the spine. And as you exhale, you turn to the right and you bring your hands down. You can use this left hand to grip the outer right thigh or knee. And with this grip, bring that left side of the chest around. The right side of the chest opens out. Keep the legs strong and pressing down. And then come back to center. You don't have to lift up your arms, just bring your hands back to center. Urdhva Prasarita, when you're going into the pose, gives you a lovely stretch in the spine, lengthen the sides of the body. But when you come out, it might be a bit heavy on the shoulders to bring the hands to Urdhva Prasarita. When you're ready, Urdhva Prasarita arms, exhale, turn to the left. As you turn to the left, at first you can grip the right hand onto the thigh to bring this right shoulder blade around. Maintain the lift of your breastbone. Left shoulder moves around. You can move the left hand back and closer to the right buttock. Each exhalation, you're turning, press the thighs down, keep the legs alert and even. Each inhalation, you're lifting the chest. When you exhale, let the hands just come to the side in Dandasana. And we're going to repeat Parsva Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hasta arms. Exhale, as you turn, bring the arms around. Now, this left hand you can turn so that the palm faces out. That opens the biceps some more, opening this left side of the chest as you come round. You want to turn in the abdomen, turn in the chest. The last thing to turn is the head. You can also start to begin to sneak that right hand behind your back. Can you grab the inner thigh? Can you grab the front groin? Use the hands to help wrap the twist around, and then releasing back to center. Once you've rested, engage the legs, stretch up the chest, Urdhva Hasta arms, turn to the left. The back of the right hand is against that left thigh now. As that right bicep rolls, can you open that right side of the chest more? As you exhale, you turn until the head is turning, and then this left arm can sneak into the right waist, and use the arms to get more of that organic body to wrap a little bit deeper in your twist. Releasing the arms at your sides. Marichyasana III, it is advisable to sit on a little bit of support for Marichyasana. So if you're sitting flat, take a blanket height now. Sitting on 1 or 2 blankets is fine. Bend up the right leg. So at first we're coming into an open twist. We're not doing the classic Marichyasana III. You're going to use the muscles of this leg to keep that shin absolutely upright. When you twist to the right side, to the left, you're going to hook the right elbow on that inner right knee, and you're turning to the left. As you turn, don't allow this knee to be bullied out to the side. Keep this outer thigh firm. Keep that inner line of the right foot pressing down so that the shin stays upright. And with the strength in this leg, there's good leverage for you to keep pushing against that right arm and bringing this right side of the body around more. The right side of the body has to come to past that right inner thigh. When you've been there for a few breaths, release and let go. Extend the leg into Dandasana and just stay in Dandasana for a breath or two. Right, can we show a side view now? So with the legs extended out in front of you, bend the left leg in. And with the left leg bent in, you're going to keep that right leg extended. Keep this left shin perpendicular to the floor. Firmness in this outer thigh. Now turn. As you turn, you want to bring this left side of the back around. You want to connect as much of the upper arm onto that knee as possible. Exhale and turn. A strong twist, but it's a nice open twist. So use that leverage, use that openness to really wrap that abdominal body around. And then release, extend the legs out in Dandasana. Jathara Parivartanasana, when done with straight legs, is a strong abdominal twist. When done with bent knees, is a nice releasing twist. So lying on your back, you can set your blanket aside. Lying on your back, make sure you've got enough space to take your arms out in line with your shoulders, palms face up to the ceiling. With the back nice and long, sacrum level on the floor, bend your knees towards your chest. So you're hugging your knees towards your chest without hugging your knees towards your chest. Your arms are out at your sides. Keeping the knees close to the chest. On an exhale, you're going to drop both feet over to the right side. Let the feet rest, let the shins rest. You want the knees close to the arm, not in line with the hips, so that there's a little bit of a scrunch and there's this turning in the abdomen. So here, there's more of a passive twist. We are working into Pasasana in this program. So feel that you want to bring the knees closer to the chest. Can you hook your right elbow on the outer left knee? So that same kind of Marichyasana hook that you had. So this is starting to get into that Pasasana kind of twist. And then releasing, bring the knees back to center. Put your feet on the floor. You might want to just scoot your buttocks and adjust so that the pelvic girdle and the shoulder girdle are aligned. Now, when you're ready, again, knees come into the chest, hugging them in without hugging them. Keeping the knees close to the chest, you're going to drop the feet over to the side. So the tendency for most people is to drop the knees and have the knees in line with the hips. You want to scrunch the abdomen, get the knees close so that you're almost in like the squat Pasasana position. You can even try and start to hook your elbow onto that thigh. So there's that scrunching. Jathara Parivartanasana also gives a nice release to the back muscles. So just enjoy this back stretch. And releasing back to center. Feet on the floor. And just swinging up. So Ardha Navasana is the half boat pose. Ardha Navasana is one of the few poses in Iyengar Yoga where you allow the back to round, but you don't want to scrunch up the chest and the shoulders. There's still a slight openness in the chest. So it is a strong abdominal practice, and you don't want the abdomen to go ploops like when you're doing a sit-up. You want to keep the abdomen contracted and back. So keeping the feet on the floor to start off with. If you're very weak, you can get a friend to stomp on your feet or slide your toes under the couch, have something holding the toes down. Now, holding onto your neck, interlace the fingers. Again, you're not squishing the chest, keep the spine nice and long. And as you exhale, just contract the abdomen, suck the abdomen back, roll the back and bring the eyes in line with the knees. Stay there, lift your shoulder blades and stay there, stay there, stay there, and then inhale and come up. Notice what your abdomen's doing. If you need to rest your arms, you need to release your neck and your throat, you do. So you don't want this big, you want to let the back round, exhale, empty, empty, empty. I'm on the tailbone, I'm holding, empty, and then come up. And you want to do these a few times to target the abdomen. So if you keep your feet down, you engage the abdomen, keep the chest nice and open, back of the neck nice and free, engaging the abdomen with each exhalation. When you need to come up, you come up. And it's hard to hold the feet there. There's something that happens in the balance of the body when you come to Ardha Navasana and allow the legs to extend. You're on the tailbone, the toes are in line with the eyes, you're low down so that the back is rounded. So whenever you need to have a rest, you have a rest. When you're ready, hands are behind the neck. As you come down, when the legs want to open and lift, let them float, open the backs of the knees. Breathe. Don't hold the breath. They're not beautiful long breaths, but breathe. When you're ready to rest, you rest. Get into the habit also, changing the interlock of the fingers, just so that you're creating balance. Exhale, Ardha Navasana. Ardha is the half boat. Toes in line with the eyes. The breath is moving. The abdomen is strong. Each exhalation, find that contraction in the abdomen. This contraction in the abdomen is important for when we do Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. When you've had a few attempts at Ardha Navasana, you're going to come to lie on your back. Another one. On your back is fine. So lying on your back, keep the knees bent to start off with. Now, as you exhale, think about what you just did in Ardha Navasana. As you exhale, contract the abdomen, feel how that abdomen empties out, feel the strength in the abdomen. The tendency is to push the back of the head against the floor. If you find that you create a lot of tension in the neck and the shoulder and the jaw region, take a blanket underneath the head and just be aware to try and soften. So bring the legs up to 90 degrees. You can hold the edges of your mat if you need. If your back is sore and you have back issues, you can slide your hand underneath the buttocks. This is the beginner shape to create more challenge. Arms are out to the side, or if you're strong, you can take the arms over your head. So you decide where you want your arms. Here with the legs extended, soften the throat. Abdomen engaged. So working with the legs at 90 degrees, relatively easy. If you're not very flexible and you can only get your legs this high, then it becomes a challenge. Legs at 90. Now, to begin to control the abdomen, you're going to, in a smooth exhalation, control the abdomen and slowly begin to just lower the legs all the way to the floor. All the way to the floor with this control in the abdomen. Inhale, bend the knees, lift the legs up to 90, extend the legs. Exhale, empty the abdomen and slowly bring the legs down. Feel what your back is doing, feel what the neck and throat are doing. If at any point you want a blanket for your head, you take it. Bend the knees, extend the legs up on the inhalation. Exhale, controlling the abdomen, extending the legs, lower them down. So this is the beginner phase. Okay, bringing the legs up to 90 degrees again. Looking at your own legs, don't lift the head. Now you're going to take the legs down a third of the way to 60 degrees. So exhale, bring the legs down to 60. If you look at your legs, you should be able to see your knees. Inhale, stretch the legs. Exhale, bring the legs down to 30. If you look at your legs, you should be able to see the toes past the horizon of your chest. Exhale all the way down, rest the feet on the floor. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, stretch the legs up. Exhale, control the abdomen. Bring the legs down to 60. Control the abdomen. Exhale, down to 30. Control the abdomen. Exhale all the way to the floor. Feel what your back is doing. Feel your neck and your shoulders. Extend the legs to 90. Controlling the abdomen with each exhalation, you're moving down a third, moving down another third, moving down on the next exhalation. At any point, if there's cramping, just extend the arms and the legs. Last one, with the legs extended at 90, exhale down to 60, exhale down to 30, exhale all the way down. So this is where you begin. If you're strong and you want to challenge yourself, you're also going to start to lift against gravity, which is where the challenge begins. So with the legs extended, you can see Liz has put her fingers, her thumbs under her butt. Do that, pin the flesh of the buttocks away from the back waist if that's helpful for you. Now, inhale. As you exhale, contract the abdomen, lift the feet to 30 degrees. Contract the abdomen on the exhalation, lift to 60. Inhale, and as you exhale, lift to 90. Inhale, stretch the legs. As you exhale, down to 60. Inhale, stretch the legs. Exhale, down to 30. Exhale all the way down to the floor and rest. Sorry. No, go away. It's just, they always come when you're vulnerable. Have a rest, and then we'll try again. Inhale, exhale, up to 30. Inhale, exhale, up to 60. Inhale, exhale, up to 90. Inhale, stretch, and as you exhale, down to 60, down to 30, all the way down to the floor and rest. The stronger you get, the more repetitions you do, the stronger you get, you start to not rest on the floor in between cycles, yeah, where you'll do a whole cycle going up to 30, up to 60, up to 90, and then when you're ready to come down, prepare yourself, go down to 60, down to 30. You can then hover off the floor and come back to 30 and back to 60 and back to 90. And you're only doing as much as you can. You listen to your body, you listen to your back. So, you know, it takes time. It takes a lot of time to develop the strength to do these poses. Take your arms out to the side, bend your knees to your chest, just release in a twist like Jathara Parivartanasana once again, stretching the back muscles if you cramp them, releasing the diaphragm, feet over to the left, feet over to the right, and when you're ready, back to center, and we're rolling onto the side. So Pasasana is the squat, and Depending on your capability, you may or may not need a blanket for your heels. So when you're coming into the squat in Pasasana, the feet are together, knees are together, and you come into a squat where you're trying to keep your heels on the floor. If your heels don't go onto the floor, taking your heels onto the blanket, coming into the squat position. Pasasana is not just the squat, but it's a twist in the squat. Again, if you need the support of the wall helps you to balance, and the wall helps you with the twist. So we're coming to a twist where you're hooking your elbow onto the opposite knee. You can bring your hands into the prayer position if you have your balance. Lift your chest towards that hand. In the classic Pasasana, the arms wrap around the legs and the back, which requires a deep twist, nice long slender limbs. Once you've done the twist on one side, come to the twist on the other side. Use the arms as leverage. You can soften, yes, this elbow down to lift the shoulder and lift the chest, not the shoulder. When you've held it for a few breaths, release. Use your hands on the floor to help you to come up, straighten the legs, and come to standing in Tadasana. So this deep bend and twist we use when we do Utkatasana. Okay, in the abdominal exercises that we did on the floor, there was that firm control in the abdomen. You're going to keep that control. Urdhva Prasarita, exhale, buttock flesh down, shins must lift, abdomen back to the spine. Abdomen back to the spine, flesh of the buttocks down, lock the elbows, back waist is long, flesh of the buttocks down, abdomen back to the spine. Breathe. When you lift up, lift the shins, straighten the legs, lift the sides of the body, and release in Tadasana. Utkatasana is an intense pose. You work it with that abdominal control. You work it so that you're not arching the back. You're also not dumping into the groins. You want to keep that abdominal control. Utkatasana. When you're ready to come up, lift up through the sides of the body. You press into the heels and you lift the shins. To come back to Tadasana, rest in Tadasana. Parsva Utakatsana is coming into a twist in Utkatasana. In the classic Utkatasana, you're keeping the chest lifted. You're not dropping the chest down. For the twist, however, you're going to, from this prayer position, you have to lean down to get that hook. And then as you did in Pasasana, lift the chest to meet the hands. Okay, so when you're ready, hands in the prayer position, exhale, squat, hook into your twist. Use that pressure of the arm. You can let the buttocks descend. You can remove this top shoulder away from the ear. And as you twist, bring the breastbone to line up with the thumbs. Exhale and turn. And then release and come to standing in Tadasana. Good. It's a strong pose. Eh? Hands in the prayer position. Exhale, squat and hook. And once you've got that hook, you want to again bring this back of the body down. And you're using the leverage between the arm and the knee to lift the breastbone to meet the thumb. Don't forget to breathe. And when you've held it for a few breaths, releasing, coming back to Tadasana, have a rest here. Pasasana, as we said, is wrapping the arms. So taking the blanket for your heels again if you need it. Being close enough to the wall if you need it. So when you come from Utkatasana, you've got all the space to come into the twist. When you're coming from the squat, it's a different story. So coming into the squat, you're going to turn, and as you turn, hook the arms, come to that twist. You have to allow the abdomen to wrap around and bring that side of the back around. Then see, would I be able to, if I've got my balance, wrap my arms around my knees and the top arm around the back, as if you're trying to enclose the knees. Yes. Pasasana is challenging that way. I think I've seen 2 people ever do it. And then we're going to go to the other side. So when you're ready, it's that churning of the abdomen. Suddenly there's not much space. You have to get this back of the body to wrap around and then see, can you take that top arm behind your back, the front arm, sneak it around the front of the knees as if you were to hold the hands behind the back. So it requires a deep twist. It requires a lot of balance, long limbs, slender body, all sorts of things. Okay. Paripurna Navasana is the full boat pose. Paripurna Navasana is also quite a nice, strong abdominal practice. In Ardha Navasana, the half boat pose, you allowed yourself to go back onto the tailbone, the back was rounded, and the body was low down. Paripurna Navasana, you're more upright, okay? The chest is lifted, the sacrum is into the body. So you're not taking any supports for Paripurna Navasana. However, we are going to go into Ubhaya Padangusthasana thereafter. So you'll have a strap for Ubhaya Padangusthasana. Now, from Paripurna Navasana, as a beginner, easiest option is to bend up the knees, holding on the back of the knee, extend the arms. As you extend the arms, you lean back, you lift the chest. No, keep the feet on the floor. As you extend the arms, you lean back, you lift the chest, lift the sacrum. Yes, so starting to extend the arms, now lift the feet, find your balance, lift the sacrum, come onto the buttock bones, soften the throat, just try to find some balance here. If you're able to release the arms, then you do. Once you've had a practice go there, you'll release and come down. So Paripurna Navasana is not an easy pose. It can challenge your back, so do be careful. So holding on to the legs is a good option for beginners. The next option is to imagine you're holding something, and as you lean back, lift your chest, take the upper arm into the shoulder socket. Bring your knees closer to your body. Exhale, contract the abdomen, and can you lift your feet? And then you hold here. This is where you're at if you're a beginner. If you're able to straighten the legs in Paripurna Navasana, the toes are above the eyes, sacrum is into the body, and then exhale and release. So you can practice those. You can go over them as often as you like. If you're quite flexible, we're going to do Ubhaya Padangusthasana now. Ubhaya Padangusthasana, holding the big toe, extending the legs. Now you have something to lift you up. So similar shape to Paripurna Navasana, except now you've got something to pull you up, lift the sacrum away from the floor, and release. If you're not very flexible and gripping the toes is just not going to happen, you're going to take a small loop with your strap around the feet, holding on to that small loop like you're going water skiing. Come to Ubhaya Padangusthasana here. Lifting the spine, lifting the sacrum, lifting the chest, relaxing the shoulders. Feel Ubhaya Padangusthasana here. Holding with your left hand, take your right hand out like a twist. Back to center. Pull yourself up. Come onto your buttock bones. Come to the twist on the left side. Good. When you're ready, come back to Ubhaya Padangusthasana and release. If that was a challenge for you, you're going to repeat it so that you're holding the legs. If, however, you're able to come to Paripurna Navasana, come to a twist. So you bring the opposite hand and you use that as leverage to twist. If you're not doing the Paripurna Navasana twist, then still gripping, oh, that one went undone. Gripping the little loop around the feet, you're going to hold the feet like you did for Ubhaya Padangusthasana. If you want to challenge yourself with the twist, you do the twist. If the twist is out of your range of practice, then don't do it. Come back to the center and twist. Good. You've held the twist for a few breaths, back to center and release. Good. Right, coming just to straight up Dandasana now. Legs in front of you. Legs out in front of you. Hands are at your sides. Trying to bring the sacrum into the body. Chest is nice and open. In Marichyasana III is a twist. It's the twist we did at the beginning of class. We did it as an open twist. The classic twist is done as a closed twist. First thing you're going to do for Marichyasana is take some support. You want a little bit of height. Take your legs out in front that way. You want a little bit of height to sit onto so that the sacrum can lift into the body and you're on the buttock bones. You're not hanging back. Now, bend up the right leg. Bring the right foot close to the right buttock. You use that right shin to help get length in the spine, get tallness in the spine. When you come to a twist now, you're going to turn to the right, and it's the left elbow that has to hook on the outer right knee. So when you come into this twist, this left side of the body and back has to come in strongly, and you want to maneuver the abdomen from the left to the right. Sometimes, if you're like me and you have quite a bit of upholstery, you might need to actually manually move so that you can get as much of the upper back onto that upper thigh as possible. And then once you've got this leverage here, keep turning, keep bringing that left side of the chest through. Try to get as much of the upper arm onto that thigh as possible, so it's not just the elbow. And now you want to try the clasp. If it's within your practice to do so, this classic stop sign shape is not a younger practice. So extending this left arm, wrap it around the front of that right shin. You kind of have to rotate that arm internally, and then the right arm clasps at the back. Use that clasp to lift the chest, turn, breathe. And as you exhale, you can release the bind and come out of it and extend that leg in Dandasana. So to show a side view, not everybody is able to do the bind. There is a way that you can take a strap. However, taking a strap is a little bit awkward trying to get the strap in position unless you have somebody to hold it for you. So come to sit in Dandasana, legs extended, and now bend up the left leg. With the left leg bent, you want to bring the left heel close to the buttock, lift yourself tall on that leg. You have to make sure that this whole abdomen has to wrap around. So when you come to the twist, you can extend that right arm up, and with that openness, move the right side of the back around and hook. Get that connection of this upper body and the thigh as deeply as you can. Hook that upper arm, use that hook of the upper arm to get the twist. This left arm is moving further and further back. And then if you're able to do the bind, you extend that right arm, internally rotate to bend, and then see, can that left hand clasp? So with that clasp, you're able to lift the chest. Very nicely done. The clasp isn't within everybody's practice, which is why that little stop sign thing kind of evolved. But try it. And when you've been there for a few breaths, release, extend the legs, just come to a nice straight up Dandasana. Good. When you've done a lot of twists, sometimes you want to just release that abdomen. So we're going to come to Setu Bandha. Classic Setu Bandha is done free or with a brick. So you'll start by lying flat on your back to begin with. Knees are bent, back is flat. Not everybody can take the tall bricks, so you have to feel within your own back if it's within your practice to take such height. Bend up your knees, bring your feet close to your butt. And then when you lift your buttocks up, you want to insert the brick on its tallest height, and it needs to be on the tailbone. So it's not in the waist, it's not on the buttocks, it's on the tailbone. Some of the sacrum, some of the buttock is on the brick, but the brick is on the tailbone. Flesh of the buttocks away from the back waist. The feet can stay hip distance apart. Make sure that your feet feel like they're parallel to each other. Don't have the feet duck-footed. More pigeon-toed is better. Feel that you've rolled onto the outer upper arm so that you're on the top shoulder. When you look, the chest is lifted towards the chin, the back of the neck is long, and because the head and the shoulders are supported on the floor, and you've got this chin lock, you're getting into that Jalandhara Bandha shape that you get when you're doing shoulder balance, which is so beneficial for the thyroid, thymus, and the parathyroid glands. Here, there's a release in the side of the body, there's a release in the abdomen, which was maybe a little bit scrunched when you did some of these poses. If your back feels, if your back has no issues and if your tailbone feels steady on the brick, you can begin to extend the legs. Extending the legs brings you more into the classic Setu Bandha shape. Extending the legs also gives you a nice freedom and openness in the front groin and the front thigh region. Extending the legs can maybe make you feel like your back is pinching. If it does catch your back in any way, then please bend up your knees. You don't have to hold a pose that's causing you any pain or severe discomfort. If this is comfortable for you, you can close the eyes, you can rest here. Some people find this pose quite soothing, quite releasing. It is a really wonderful pose, Setu Bandha. And if you find that the brick is too piercing, you can also do it on stacks of shoulder balance foams, which makes the pose just a little bit more comfortable, not as intense. At any point in time, if you need to bend your knees, you do. Setu Bandha as a release is supposed to feel quite restful, quite restorative. Come out of it, you're going to bend your knees, bring your shins perpendicular to the floor again. So if you have no back issues, you can whip that brick out immediately. But if you do have back issues, lift up, turn the brick onto its side across the hips, release the vertebra from the neck to the buttocks with a bit of a pelvic tilt, settle on the brick. And then again, you can now whip it up out of the way, extending the spine to the tailbone, bring it either onto the flat brick or onto the flat floor. Just guide your back down as slowly as you need to. Shavasana is coming into the restorative position at the end of class. In Shavasana, it's nice to have a blanket for the head, just a little bit of softness for under the head and the neck. Back of the neck is long with the knees bent. First, just again, tuck in that shoulder flesh. Let the flesh of the shoulders release down the back. With the knees bent, there's length in the lumbar spine. The flesh of the buttocks is away from the back waist. And the knees bent also gives you a chance just to let the abdomen settle. We've worked into the abdomen, strong abdominal work, also that twisting and churning in the abdomen. So here, exhale. Feel the abdomen releasing onto the floor. Each exhalation, just feel a softness in the abdomen. Once that feels released, that back waist feels rested, extend the legs. You can start with the feet together and then take the feet as far apart as you need to get that openness and a release in the pelvic girdle. The feet flop out to the side. The thighs just roll from the inner to the outer here so that there's complete release in the groins and in the pelvic region. The palms are also facing up to the ceiling. So they're the same way that the legs roll from inside to outer, the bicep rolls from inside to out, the shoulders are relaxed and released, the arms also just completely restful along the floor. Each exhalation, you're releasing more and more. Close your eyes if you haven't yet. There's softness in the skin of the face, releasing any tension in the muscles of the face. So unfurrow the brow, relax the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw. In Shavasana, the teeth come apart, the mouth is closed, but the lips are touching only barely. There's complete softness and release in the face, the neck, the throat, the shoulders. Back of the neck is long, head is rested. Each exhalation, just sink more and more into this quiet Shavasana state. Soft inhalations, peaceful, soothing, releasing exhalations. Especially releasing into that abdominal region. Just taking a few quiet minutes of Shavasana. You come out of Shavasana first with your breath. So without disturbing or moving the body in any way, just allow that breath to begin to deepen. Inhalations are becoming a little bit more profound, a little bit fuller, until you feel that you're reconnecting with your body. That breath has brought you to the surface of consciousness. Bring the hands onto the abdomen, anywhere where it's comfortable, that the arms are rested still. Connecting with your breath. On the next breath in, stretch your arms over your head. Give your body a long, deep stretch. You can yawn or sigh the breath out. Bending your knees, roll onto your right-hand side. Let your head cradle in your right arm. The knees are curled into the chest. The left side of the body is just holding you in this quiet Shavasana state. Hopefully you can tap into this feeling of quietness and serenity throughout your day. When you're ready to come up, pressing the left hand into the floor, bringing the head up last, come into a seated position. Any comfortable seated position will do. Once you're seated, bring your hands into the prayer position, close your eyes. Let the breath deepen. Each inhalation, take it in with a sense of gratitude. Have a moment here of thanks for the health and strength of your body. On the next breath in, let the eyes gently flutter open and focus. Namaste. Thank you, Liz. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.